Novelty with S&B is a show about two sisters-in-law who share their love of books and tea.
Sometimes they read together, sometimes not. Sometimes horror, but mostly smut.
They review and recommend the books they've read and chat about other fun topics too.
Don't worry, they won't spoil anything, and if they do, they'll warn you.
Also be warned, this show is not for kids, or for anyone who might be offended by horror or sex talk, or both.
Looking at you, Mom.
Hello, and welcome back to our anniversary episode of Novelty with S&B, the book club with a podcast. I'm your co-host, Bekk.
And I'm Stephanie.
We may have gotten a little carried away this month, or maybe it may have just been me.
Oh, so what did you read this month?
I read S by J. Abrams, Passin Through by Louis Lamar, City of Darkness by Karina Hale, finally, Goddess of Life and Dawn by K.M. Marinova, and the entire, not the entire ACOTAR series, but most of the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas. What did you read?
So I read In the Shadow of Angels by Fanny Lee Savage, Goddess of Life and Dawn by K.M. Marinova, Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole, Broken Pieces of June by Stuart Bray, and Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole.
Sounds like we both have a thing for powerful women and complicated men. Between westerns, mystery, epic fantasy, and splatterpunk, I think we've got a little bit of everything for people today, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you ready to dive in? Grab your favorite beverage, cuddle up, and get ready for a wild episode.
Okay, so the first book I read this month was S by J.J. Abrams. It is a mystery thriller, I guess. That's what Goodreads says anyway. It is 472 pages, and that is 5 times, by the way, because you have to read it 5 times. I started it on February 24th. I ended it on March 3rd.
Oh, wow. That was quick.
I Spotified the book part of it, like the Ship of Theseus, and then I got the hardback for the margin parts. And I was gifted it by you.
Oh, so, hi.
Yeah, hi.
It's the most complicated book ever. I had to read 5 times.
No. 5 times. Oh my God. Okay. I'll get into that after the synopsis, which is a young woman picks up a book left behind by a stranger. Inside it are his margin notes, which reveal a reader entranced by a story that, and by its mysterious author. She responds with notes of her own, leaving the book for the stranger, and so begins an unlikely conversation that plunges them both into the unknown. The book, Ship of Theseus, the final novel by a prolific but enigmatic writer named V.M. Straka, in which a man with no past is shanghaied onto a strange ship with a monstrous crew and launched onto a disoriented and perilous journey. The writer, Straka, the incredibly... That's not the word.
Incendiary
and secretive subject of one of the world's greatest mysteries, a revolutionary about whom the world knows nothing apart from the words he wrote and the rumors that swirl around him. The readers, Jennifer and Eric, a college senior and a disgraced grad students, both facing crucial decisions about who they are, what they are to become, and how much they're willing to trust another person with her passions, hurts, and fears. So, really cool concept. Loved it. I kind of had to space or like research how to read this book because it comes with no instructions. You're given this book that you have to open up like the tape and pull it out, and there's all these inserts. So you read, as far as TikTok is telling me, you read the entire book first. Okay. Ignore the margin notes. Then you go back to read the dark blue and black margin notes. Then you go back to read the orange and green. You read the purple and red, and then finally black on black. Yeah. And it was actually really fun to discover all the inserts. I would recommend not reading this book in bed because you're just gonna get inserts everywhere.
Yeah.
So maybe on your couch or somewhere that you can put it back in.
Right.
In case you want to give it to somebody else at some point. You don't have to put the inserts back exactly. There is also if you really you fucked up the inserts, There is like a document that you can look at to put them back in the right place.
Oh, okay.
I do think that the Ship of Theseus, the book itself, would have been fine on its own. You didn't like the margin notes were cool touch, but it would have been a fine book on its own.
Mm-hmm.
I really did like the idea of Ship of Theseus because it's like this old thought whatever experiment where it's is an object the same after having all of its original components changed, and that's like the whole idea of Ship of Theseus, the book part. This the man, the S is changed over time, so is he the same as what he was originally?
Okay,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
I did feel a little let down by how it concluded. It also is one of those books that you kind of have to put time and energy into reading between the lines. Like, things happen and you kind of just have to, based on what the Jennifer and Eric have said, you have to kind of glean that yourself. So like there's a part where like they're talking about something happened in a theater and you kind of have to like, oh shit, like somebody's after them.
Right.
It doesn't outright tell you this. So I mean, if you have the time to do it, that's cool. But like, if you're trying to just get like a book read,
yeah,
this ain't it.
This ain't it. Okay.
Also, I think I texted this to you. I did not love Jennifer as a character because she was very like, oh, my daddy's paying for my college and he's got a job set up for me and I just don't know if that's something I want to do. And it's like, dude, if my daddy can pay for my college and set up a job for me afterwards, are you kidding me? I would not complain, not once.
Right. No.
So go ahead.
Sorry. No, I have a question. So the two people writing back and forth, is it in like real time? Like she leaves the book and then they have a place where they leave it, or was it like?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're kind of like talking to each other, like letters almost.
Yeah.
But not letters. Yeah.
Eric is a grad student that got kicked out because one of the professors is telling everybody that Eric's research is his research, so they kicked him out for plagiarism or whatever. So he's still trying to use like the library and like things on campus because he's got to figure out who the Straka guy is, and he's trying to figure out this information before the professor does, so he can like prove it or whatever.
Okay, so they're writing back and forth in the book.
Yeah,
almost
and
like
so.
Yeah,
The dark blue and black is the very first time that they start sending it back. She also works at the library, so that's how she just found it.
Convenient.
Yeah, right. So the dark blue and black are when they first start talking, and then orange and green is like when they start getting more into like the story, the depth of like she's actually doing research with him, and it is a little bit of a love story too because they end up falling in love. Spoiler alert. I don't think that's actually a spoiler, but
yeah.
But then the black and black is like the final conclusion of like what happens.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Sounds crazy.
It is cool.
Yeah. You said it was a little pretentious, right?
Yeah, like
some of it. Yeah,
I think it's because so J.J. Abrams is a director, like a famous Hollywood movie. So like I feel like he's just probably a little out of touch of like what real life is, but which is weird because like I do love House of Leaves, which is like some people do feel like it is pretentious and it is a photographer and all of this, but like I feel like The Descent is a lot more satisfying than this. Yeah. But the Ship of Theseus, I thought it was really cool, like how descriptive it was, all the shit that happens, and
that's cool.
There's like magic systems in it, which is really cool. So nice. Overall 3 stars. Like it wasn't bad. I think if I had more time to like sit down and actually like think about the things that were happening instead of just like reading it. I probably would have gotten more out of it, but I don't know. As somebody that has like ADHD or whatever, it just kind of doesn't work.
It's
unless you're like really into it,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then one eye roll for every time Jennifer complained about being a rich kid.
So what was your favorite insert?
You know, I really liked like the postcards because they came from like different places. Like Eric would go places and then send Jennifer information back. And then it would be like a little monkey or whatever on the postcard. And then they would like speak in codes back to each other. Like it was about like a bird watching community and like, hey, I saw this bird. And then you had to like figure out what this bird, who this person was in like the actual story. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. It was really fun.
Yeah.
What was your first book this month?
So I started off, and I think I was reading this at the end of the last episode, so big. In the Shadow of Angels.
I think so.
Yeah, I was, because I had tried to start Pestilence or whatever and got mad.
Oh yeah.
So this is In the Shadows of Angels, and it's the Guardian series. I'm not sure how many books are in it, to be honest. I'd have to look. Fantasy romance. I started it February 24th and finished it March 3rd. And it's 452 pages and on KU. So, how far would you go to keep a secret? This unforgettable tale follows Charlotte Duvall, whose life is altered forever one fateful night, leaving her willing to do anything to keep an awful secret. On one hot summer day, only weeks before her 30th birthday, and her face wasn't melting off.
It wasn't.
Wow. There was that. Charlotte's quiet life is interrupted when her past shows up on her doorstep, forcing her to face her worst nightmares. She spent 5 years in hiding, working hard to forget her past and the lies that tore her family apart. Suddenly, Charlotte finds herself swept away to an ominous chateau in France by the one person she tried to forget. Henry, her first love, has been doing research that has brought about unwanted attention, leaving Charlotte in danger and with more questions than answers. She is forced to wait, living with the chateau's residents, while the mystery of Henry's research unfolds around her. Okay, so the synopsis went on, and I'm just like,
you're like, you know what? No.
There's a lot going on. There's like secrets about her mom and stuff. So it's pretty. She hasn't seen her mom since she was a kid, and then when she sees her mom, so Henry tells her that her mom's dying. So, and she's in France, and her mom left when she was really young. There's a whole story with that.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to go. She was like, no, like she hasn't talked to me, blah, blah, blah. But he ends up finally convincing her to go. And when she sees her, she like hasn't aged. She looks exactly the same, if not better. So, I am teetering on whether or not I want to continue. So I did really like it, but did I like it enough? I'm not too sure. So I did love that the FMC was in her 30s and still very desirable. That was so nice.
That's good.
I'm like, see, total opposite with this book. But it was nice because, you know, I didn't even mean to I didn't go in search of an older FMC. It just happened that way. And this is such of a rare thing. And I loved it. I did love that. I almost want to continue reading the series just because it's more relatable because of her age and everything. But it's modern day and it's in this world, but there's a secret world that's hidden away in areas, in France being one of them. And the tension throughout this book is amazing, and slow burn, you know, enemies to lovers, my favorite thing. So lots of secrets, and there's vampires. So always
shit.
Yeah, she realized it's this whole thing where she realized it's pretty good. The FMC did annoy me at times, but when I thought about the reasons why she would do or act the way she would, it did make sense. Like, I'd be annoyed, and then I'd be like, well, I can see why. You know what I mean? Like, her situation, you know, when you're kept at a chateau in France and you can't leave, you know, you got to put up with some shit, and she doesn't want to. It's just, you'd have to, it's a little battle with her, and I get it. I do get it. So, I hate that I can't delve into my thoughts too much with this book because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't read it. But it is good. I'm still undecided if I'm going to read the next one. It's weird because usually I wasn't like, I need to read the next one.
Yeah.
And I'm usually like that right away. And the fact that I even have to think about it, it's like I may have really good intentions on getting to it, but I don't know when.
Right.
So it's not off the table, but I'm not like, like you'll hear about another book I read where I had to read the next one immediately. Like I didn't have that with this, but that's not to say it's a bad book. It's not. I would recommend it if you want to read about an older FMC and there's vampires and lots of fun tension with that. But there's only 2 spice, so it's not. There's a lot of tension.
Oh,
you're like, I think if I read the next book, there'd probably be a bit more, because it was kind of going that way. But it's slow burn for sure. 3 stars and 2 eye rolls because some of the things she did. There's one thing in particular with her ex. That's all I'll say, because if you've read it, like anyone listening has read it, they'll know. And it just was like, what are you doing?
If you know, you know. Yeah.
If you know, you know. And then that was it. So, yeah.
Okay.
So what about you? What's next for you? Oh, this is your Western.
Yeah. I went so off my usual path with this one. I started reading Passin Through by Louis Lamar because my dad, I was talking to him, I don't know, a couple months ago, and he's like, well, you should probably read a Louis Lamar book. And I'm like, okay, Dad, which one? Like,
oh yeah, you told me about this.
He's like, it doesn't matter. They're all the same. So I went to Reddit and I was like, okay, which Louis Lamar book is the most like Arthur from Red Dead Redemption 2? And this is what I came up with.
Okay.
So it is Passin Through by obviously Louis Lamar. It is a Western, 272 pages. I started it on March 1st. I ended it March 7th. And I did listen to it on Spotify. I have Spotify Premium, so you get up to 15 hours of audiobooks a month, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
The summary is, it seemed the perfect place to lie low. The owner of a ranch was an attractive gray-haired lady who had once been an actress. The other woman was a beautiful, fragile-seeming blonde. They needed repairs done, and he needed to disappear for a while. The first sign that things were not as they seemed was when the Pinkerton man, that's like a detective, by the way, questioned him about a missing woman. Then he accidentally found a will belonging to the previous owner of the ranch. After that, a young lady showed up in town making claims that the place belonged to her. Worried that his hideout was turning into a battleground, he didn't know what would be more dangerous, staying or leaving. For a man interested in only passing through, he finally found himself entangled in a deadly struggle. So, our main male character, goes by the name Passin Through. The first time that somebody asks him, like, hey, who are you? He's like, well, I'm just passing through. And then the lady's like, oh, that's a mighty fine name. And like, oh, knee slap.
Yeah, so it's
yeah. And it was fine. It was mighty fine. Just fine. There was a lot of like cowboy slang in there, like mighty fine, like well, darling, I don't know, and all of those colloquialisms that exist in Westerns. There was one that he was like, what did he say? He was like, well, I didn't go to school for the lunch, like, which I thought was just hilarious.
So fun.
I did like it enough to possibly pick up another Western, but I think I will be a little more picky with what Western I do pick up. I think like more of like a thriller, maybe. Like, I think Westerns could be really like spooky. But there is just something about a Western story that just, I don't know. It just makes me, there's like drama. There's a good man done bad things trope. There's a little bit of romance, a little mystery. It's a little fun. It was fun. Like, I had fun, like trying to figure out like this will situation and like, oh shit, who actually does have the will. And then like the payoff was like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then I will say that there are 3 main female characters that like don't you know how like most of the time female characters in like major media like are either worried about like men or like talk about men all the time. I didn't find that in this book at all, which was actually pretty progressive for being from the 80s. So
yeah, that's
I thought that was really cool.
Does it take place in the 80s as well?
Like, no, like the 1880s.
The back in the day.
Yeah, like the cowboy days.
Yeah.
South Dakota was mentioned, which was cool.
Oh,
as
okay.
a South Dakota
I always
girl.
think of like the South. Always.
I think
maybe because like Tombstone, I live here. I don't know.
Okay, so
I think of
also
it all the time.
Jeff made me watch Tombstone after I told him I was reading a Western. He's like,
That's the only like Western
Dude,
movie I like.
I was obsessed.
It's so good.
For like a week straight. I get like these like little, what is it called? Like sudden interests in stupid shit. So we watched it, and then like TikTok, my entire TikTok was just like, I'll be your Huckleberry.
Oh no. It's such a good movie, and I'm not a big into Westerns. I've seen that one, and I thought the Unforgiven was pretty good, but Tombstone by far is like so good.
Perfect.
So good.
Well, except there's like weird like pacing issues some like halfway into the movie, whereas like he's just randomly playing pool for some reason. Like his brother was just shot, and then he goes back to play. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's good though.
It's such a good movie.
It's so
and Val
good.
Kilmer in the 90s.
Oh, I loved him. I had like the biggest crush on that man.
Yeah, dude.
He's super good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. It's so good. That's funny. Jeff made you watch it. That's cute. We did grow up like watching that. My dad watched it often. So
there's so many movies that like Jeff's not a big movie guy, right?
No.
So like when I'm like, I've never watched that movie, he's like, well, I guess we're watching it. I'm like, okay.
And that's rare for him.
It is.
Yeah.
Like he made me watch Forrest Gump, and then he made me watch Saving Private Ryan. I just today told him that I've never seen The Big Lebowski, and he's like, oh, that would have been a deal breaker.
There's a part in that movie. We'll talk about it later. There's a part in that movie I laugh like I have to pee my pants. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pause. Oh my god, it's so funny. Okay, anyway, sorry.
So it's 3 stars, no spice, 1 eye roll. I did buy the hard copy just because it's like I want to give it to my dad or something. It's not a 5-star by any means. It's a very typical story, but I thought it was fun.
It's cool too. Yeah. Your dad recommended it. That's cute. I love that. That's super cute.
Was funny.
So, this was my favorite read this month, by the way. So,
yes.
Spark of the Everflame, Kindred's Curse, Book 1 by Penn Cole. It's a fantasy romance, and I started it March 4th and finished on March 11th. 438 pages, and it's on KU. So, when old secrets catch fire, everything will burn. In a mortal world colonized by the gods and ruled over by the Descended, their cruel offspring, Diem Bellator, yearns to escape the insular life of her poor village. Her mother's sudden disappearance and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offer Diem an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of Descended royalty and unlock the web of mysteries her mother left behind. With the dying king's handsome, mysterious heir watching her every move and a ruthless mortal alliance recruiting her to join the growing civil war, Diem will have to navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics to save her family and all of mortal kind. It's so good.
Yeah? I see it all over TikTok.
It's really freaking good. So this is what, like, I needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like the Ever King, where I knew I was going to be finishing the series, no matter how long it may be. And this is a long one.
Yeah.
I found out. I have a couple, like, book number 1 in a series, and I'd be somewhat interested, just like the one I was just talking about. Like, yeah, it was interesting, but I don't know. But this one I knew immediately. Like, I finished the story, and I'm like, I need the next one, because that, like, cliffhanger was good. So the world building in this book is amazing. Everything about it, the magic, everything about it. I enjoyed the character development is really good. Like, all of the characters have a really great story. Like her brother, her father, her love interest, I guess, in the mortal world. And then she ends up having this weird attraction with the heir they're talking about, and Luther. I love him. And just all the characters have just so much depth, and like, it's so freaking good. And you're really in your mind, like, reading it, trying to, like, oh, they can't be that bad, and then
right,
you don't know, and you're going back and forth, and then something will happen where you're like, oh no,
fuck.
but then something happens and you're like, oh my god, like, but so there's a lot of that. It's cool. I love that. I love when a book like gets me super emotional and like I don't know where it's going, and it's so good. Anyways, I didn't know what was going on with her, so there is something about her, and I knew it, and it kind of drove me crazy that, like, girl, come on, like, she couldn't figure it out. But I think that's done purposefully, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
it is. Sometimes it's like so obvious, but whatever. She's just not willing to admit it. Whatever. I don't want to give too much away, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. It is a slow, the slowest of slow burns. And I loved it.
I love it so much.
It wasn't like, and I've realized I used to. Okay, so when I would read like dark romances, I would get annoyed with the slow burn. Like, oh, just get it over with.
Just do it already. Yeah,
just do it. But with fantasy, and there's always so much going on. There's like in their situation, it would be ridiculous if it was like, oh, you're my enemy, and then a week later, you're getting it on. It's just, there's no way. There's so much in this relationship. It's unrealized. It's very, man, so many things. Oh, it's so good. Anyways, sorry, I get excited. I was really interested in reading what happens next, and I did, and I'll get into that one later, but I really enjoyed it, and I absolutely recommend it to anyone who enjoys fantasy. I freaking loved it. There's some bad reviews. I don't care. They're wrong. No, I'm just playing. I gave it 4 stars, not quite 5, but 4, because it's almost, it's close. It's probably like a 4.8 at this point. It's really good. 1.5 spice. Like I said, not very spicy. It didn't have to be. So good. And 1 eye roll, because there was times where I was like, "Come on, girl," but nothing like, not an eye roll like in a bad way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like
the next book, there's some eye rolls that I'm not forgiving with, but hers, I get it, but I'm still giving it to you because sometimes.
Is it the same pairing throughout the series? Like, it's still DM and okay. I prefer when books do that personally, where it like stays with one couple.
It's kind of like a triangle, but not. It is, but it isn't. But it is, but it isn't. It's really hard to explain.
No, I get it. I mean,
it's because of the situation she's thrown in. It makes it difficult,
right?
That way. Yeah, I want you to read it. It's really good.
I probably will. I feel like
give the first one a try. Just try it and see if you like it.
I probably will. I think next month is just gonna be like us being opposite.
I know.
I'm gonna read this one. You're gonna read Akatar, but
I am.
I'm so excited for you.
I won't get through all of it though, but yeah, chapter by chapter.
Audiobooks, man.
I know. I still haven't done that. I need to. I said my goal was to do it by March 1st. Well,
oops. April 1st.
April Fools.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Oh no, the next book.
I know. I just saw it too. Oh. So this was our book club book. It is book 3 of the Pine Hollow series. We picked it because we kind of both just felt like we needed to wrap up the series. It felt unfinished for us. I wish we hadn't. This is The Goddess of Life and Dawn by K.M. Moranova. It is romantasy. It is 282 pages, and it is on Kindle Unlimited. Once upon a time, there were 2 rhythm gods, one of brilliance and one of darkness, but there was much more to the realms than the 2 gods alone could provide. So the Maker created a third. Hey, is that not just another god? Anyway, Maker made a third, unknowingly unbalancing the rhythm and setting the realms on a path of suffering. The god of war has stolen that which I hold dearest. Though I am reunited with my beloved gods, a hole remains in my heart, and it is in shambles. Together we must look to the past to preserve the future, for we cannot restore the rhythm, the realms will crumble. I was really bummed with this one, man. Like,
yeah,
this is not the same series. It can't be the same series that we read.
No.
Or is it that we have read good romantasy, so now we know this is bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like a super bummer about this, but like I was bored. I didn't like Elodie by the end of it. I really did not understand why all the dudes needed to be with her.
God.
Like what was so special about, like, she's the goddess of life, sure, but oh yeah, that's a spoiler for the other two books, but I mean, here we are. But like I don't like, she was boring. I don't like, she had nothing like special about her other than like who she is. And then like this it felt like the scenes from one to another, like the like transition was just sex. It's like, oh yeah, I don't know what to do. Sex. Okay, next scene.
Yeah.
And like it was always with at least two partners, except for once, and then it didn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
And she did the thing that was unforgivable. And why was there a child? Oh my god.
Random. He called me mom. Oh Lord. Dude,
that is not a healthy situation for a child to be in.
No, that kid's gonna be all the confused.
Yep.
So
yeah. How did you feel?
Oh yes. The goddess of holes and moans. That's literally what this fucking book should be called.
My tea with my nose.
Sorry. That's all this book is.
That's all it is.
He filled my holes. Oh, gross.
Both of them.
Dude. Like,
yeah.
I have read books, but
anyway, I know. We've read Squeak. We've read Canada.
I've read a girl getting it on with Cthulhu. That
Tentacle
was cool.
monsters. Yeah, dude.
Loved it. I've read a lot. I've read Haunting Adeline.
With
Gunplay. I've read Credence. God damn.
Oh god. I keep seeing Credence on TikTok, by the way.
Yeah, everyone hates it because they're like, they're not really related. Whatever.
The worst thing is the age gap for me. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Anyways, so I am no prude, and I appreciate smut when I want to read it. Yeah, it's nice. Sometimes I'm in the mood for that, and I have liked many a smut books. Okay, this is a little over the top, but not in a good way. So the only character in the book I actually kind of liked, ish, was Aurelius.
Yeah, dude,
he's the only one who had like an interesting freaking story. Yeah, and like I like depth. Yeah. Everybody else is just kind of meh. And Elodie, like they're all obsessed with her, which is whatever. Like it's always it was like that with the other books, and I remember liking the other ones. It's so weird, but
that's what I'm saying.
She's not intriguing. There's nothing. Why? Like there's no why. There's no why. She forgives somebody, and then they all melt.
Oh,
and
I hated
they
that.
fill her holes. And the only thing they ever say about her is like, oh, her heart. No, dude, like there's nothing else there.
No,
though.
she's so flat.
She's very boring. There's nothing. I don't get why these gods and whatever are all in love with her. Because there's nothing. She's flat. That's the best way to describe it. There's nothing.
She's not unique. She's not. And like I understand that like we don't want like pick-me's or like I'm like not like other girls, but that's not what I'm getting at. I'm getting at that like she's
gods in love with her.
Yeah, she's vanilla.
Something with her mind or the way she thinks or she figures something. I mean, there's nothing to where I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably no. No. And I mean, she does. I mean, they could put it in any orifice and she's down. So, I mean, maybe
that's it. Yeah.
Maybe that's it. So the word boner was used again. I'm sorry.
I forgot to mention too the what was the thing that I sent to you? Joint. Oh, I 32 times.
I talk. Oof.
Oh, you talk about that too? Okay, sorry.
I bring it up. No, don't be sorry because we were both talking about that. But the boner, like, I'm an older woman. Like that sounds like junior high. Nobody says fucking boner.
No,
like, I'm
dude.
so sorry. And he's like his boner. And I remember when I read it in one of the last books. I can't remember if it was the first or second. I laughed and I'm like, I wonder if like that was supposed to be like
funny.
Go into thesaurus.com.
Oh, she was supposed to control
like the one random DeWicked.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's if you watch
this
The Office, I'm like, oh, this is just her DeWicked. This is a
DeWicked.
Here it is again.
She used it again, so obviously.
So she was, and let me just say,
there's nothing that turns me off worse than
like it sounds like an 8th grade dude.
Anyways,
I don't know, that was just a me thing, but it was so annoying for me. The joint smoking, which I don't care. Smoke the weed, I don't give a shit. Dude. Was it I don't understand the necessity of having to bring it up in every chapter.
No, and his personality did not match it whatsoever. He was a hot-headed man, and then he smokes weed all the time. Come on.
Yeah, and it didn't chill him out. He was still the same. So, and I didn't understand. I'll also say, I liked her book. I remember liking the first 2. I didn't love them, but I remember liking them. Yeah. I liked Fabric of Our Souls. I do see a trend with her books, and I know you're not going to read it for a while, but I will. It's not that long, so you'll read eventually. So after you read that, when you feel you can after reading this,
yeah, dude,
because it is better than this, I will say, obviously. We could talk about that more, but there is and it's not hole filling. Don't worry about that. But I do notice a trend, and I'm like, I kind of see how her books. There's a thing that I see, but anyways, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah. Not for me.
No.
Was not for me.
Did not love it. Nope.
No. Do not recommend.
Nope.
So
2 stars.
Yep, 2 stars.
4 spice.
4 spice.
I almost gave it 5, but then I figured that was just more Tentacle Monster would be 5, and this didn't have that, but I mean it was still up there.
Well, it's supposed to be taken serious, so
yeah.
I gave it 4 because I know there's worse, and I just hope I don't ever get graced with the presence of the worst ones, but this one was pretty bad. There was another one that was on the same level with this. Oh my god, I can't remember. It was the one that was kind of like a Peter Pan retelling, and I freaking hated it.
Oh, Hooked?
No, it wasn't that.
Oh.
Dark something.
Never
King.
Never King. Yeah. I see that on TikTok now too.
Good trash is trash.
Yeah.
Not to me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't
like it. Yeah, so I was very bummed about it, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
I'm gonna give this 1 eye roll for every joint, which is 32.
32 eye rolls for every joint.
For every joint.
And I'm gonna give an eye roll for every hole filled.
There you go.
That's probably another
chapter. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes 3, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just in all the thing. Good for her. I would be wore out.
I can't even.
No,
thank you.
Too much going on.
Talking about rough.
I read.
Mm-hmm. I'm not excited.
Broken.
I hate when you do this to me. By the way, I have to sit here.
I don't even tell what it's about because I never can. Broken Pieces of June by Stuart Bray. Stuart Bray. What's wrong with your freaking
what the fuck, dude?
brain, bro? No. Splatterpunk Extreme Horror started it March 18th and finished it March 20th. I had to get through it. I'm like, let me finish this. 177 pages, and it's on KU. I've been finding more Extreme Horror Splatterpunk on KU. Yay for me.
I mean, who's going to buy this? Just kidding. Somebody should.
I mean, you'd be surprised.
Say Stuart Bray.
I have a lot of them on my TikTok algorithm, mine personal one. There's all kinds of people that be buying these. That's how I hear about them. I'm like, oh, let's give this one a try. Whoop. This was a bad one. June has struggled to find her place in the world, jumping from town to town, state to state. But when a strange film director shows up and offers her a deal of a lifetime, a starring role in her own film, how could she possibly pass it up? Only this is in Hollywood. And though June will be playing a role, she won't be acting. She will fight for survival in the dark and twisted world of the underground snuff film. It's so gross. So this was right up there with Dead Inside for me. Okay. I read the synopsis and just okay. So I thought it can't be that bad because magic was same premise, like, there's going to be like that kind of stuff in it. And Magic I read and it was gross. It was, but I wasn't like overly disturbed. But this was indeed that bad. The story's really weird altogether. Like, you kind of feel bad for June for like 2 seconds, and then you're like, oh, she's a fucking psycho monster. She's not a good person. Yeah, because she will do anything for money. And some of the stuff they want on camera is some of the, I don't even know how you think of it. And I'm reading it like, oh, it's so gross. She'll do anything. She'll do anything. You can't even think of the nastiest thing. It's worse. It's worse than that. There are some twists at the end. Like, he tried to, there was a plot. There was some twists at the end where it's like, I didn't see it coming, but I don't really care because I'm about to vomit. No. The book was gore focused, of course, and I really had to push to get through. I am usually okay. Like, I'll be like, ew. Like, just keep going.
Oh my
like,
God, look at
really,
this.
like,
yeah,
but this, I was like, oh, it was so bad, so grotesque. So it will be another trilogy of one for me. I've had a few of those.
It's a trilogy?
Yeah,
dude,
I'm done. I can't read no more of it. I'm good. I don't care what happens to any of them people.
I'm so mad right now. Why is there 3?
When I finished it, this was funny. So I finished the book, and it was like time for me to go to sleep. Like, I took a melatonin. I only take like 3 milligrams. I take a little 3 milligrams before I start reading, and like, about an hour later, I'm tired. So I finished reading it, and I'm like, well, no, nope. So I knew I was reading Glow of the Everflame, next, and I had to, and I am not one, like, I do not, you people don't know me, but I am not one who like needs to like watch a happy movie after a scary movie so I can go to bed. Like, no, I'm usually good. Every other splatterpunk, I close my eyes and went right to sleep afterwards. This one, I'm like, no. So I read like a couple chapters of Glow of the Everflame before I could go to sleep.
To escape that
just so my head would be in a different place, because that book was so bad. I have had bad dreams and nightmares, but if I would have dreamt any of the shit I had read in that book, I don't think I'd be okay right now.
I'm not okay right now.
It's so bad. So I'm not giving it like a rating.
No, just a recommendation.
So if you want to push your limits and are already, and this is very important, well versed in splatterpunk. Like, if you're listening to this and you like splatterpunk and you're like, it can't be that bad. Yeah, go ahead, have fun. It's KU. It's free. Have at it. If you've not dabbled in the extreme horror genre, this is not where to start at all. And very, very heavy triggers. You're good. It's some of the most depraved things you've ever read, and a lot of sexual violence. And if you have any triggers, just don't read this. This is not for you, and that's okay, because it was pretty rough. And I read some bad shit, and this. I don't know if it was worse than Dead Inside, but they're even right now. So those are the 2 grossest books so far I've read that I almost couldn't stomach. So, and I said I'm taking a break, but I'll get into that
like an
later when I tell
break?
you what I'm.
Or you're just
punk,
like for a month.
Going to. I will get into that when we talk about our current read, and you're going to be like, "What the fuck?" And I'm going to be like, "I know." Anyways,
all right.
So let's hear about something a little more so depraved, please.
Well, the next. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I read City of Darkness by Karina Hale. That's the one that I was bitching about in the last couple of episodes that I was waiting for it to come out.
It came out.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, so I did like this book. I have forgotten that I've read this book like 3 different times. So like, what? Because I've read so much this month. I'm like, okay, I read this and this and this. What else was it? Oh yeah, City of Darkness.
Yeah.
So it is a romantasy of 291 pages. I started on March 3rd and ended on March 6th. That could also be why. Like, it's been so long ago.
Yeah.
When mortal Hannah agreed to marry Tuani, the god of death, in exchange for her father's life, the last thing she expected was to fall for the morally gray anti-hero. But it's not only her heart that is in danger now, as she navigates her new role as the goddess of death in the spooky and... Why would you use the word spooky? Sorry.
Just take that out. Spooky. In the macabre underworld. Spooky.
I don't know why that got me so mad. Okay, anyway.
No, it's funny.
Macabre underworld of Tuonela. Hannah discovers that death has many enemies. Oh my god, enemies in his kingdom, none more powerful than his half-demon ex-wife, Louis. With an uprising of Olgas at her fingertips and skeleton armies ready to do her bidding, Hannah and Death must work together to make sure the underworld isn't lost forever, even if it means losing each other along the way, and all they hold dear.
That sounds interesting.
So, okay, I love the Underworld Gods 1 and 2. They're amazing. I would recommend reading those. Those are like 4 or 5 stars, not 4.5 stars. This one, I felt like it was really short compared to the rest of the books that are in this series.
Okay.
And it felt a little rushed. They end up going to like present day Finland, which I found really cool because I just really love Scandinavian countries. She did involve a recap at the beginning, which was just
I love that.
And it was gold. Like,
yeah,
it was
the Everqueen did that.
Yeah,
it was so nice. Yeah,
but this one, it was like humorous, so I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
The clash between the old gods and the skeleton armies kept the stakes high. So like you weren't just like, oh shit, like why the fuck am I reading this? But like it actually has a lot of tension building,
edge of your seat kind of thing.
Yeah,
and yeah,
the she's very good at like being vivid and atmospheric with like her underworld, and like the monsters that come out are really cool. Like the descriptions of them, and pretty rad.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really like with as much as I'm like shitting on it right now, I do recommend it. Just that like it does, maybe like number 3s are just not the best.
Yeah,
books
could be.
Or something.
Yeah.
And I think also I did find Hannah a little like annoying. Like she second guessed herself a lot, which is weird because she's like literally the goddess of death now. So
yeah,
bitch, what are you doing?
Yeah. Right, you good.
You're
in charge.
You're the queen.
Goddess.
Yeah. And, like, so it goes into Finnish mythology, which is different than like Norse mythology, which I thought was really cool too.
Yeah.
But it just kind of fell flat a little bit for me, is all. Like, I mean, I forgot that I read it, so.
Yeah.
But go read 1 and 2. Absolutely.
Yeah.
3 stars, 3 stars.
You don't. Is it like a cliffhanger though? Like you're gonna end up finishing it?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, at this point, yeah. I'm so invested.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. So, what do you rate it?
3 stars, 3 spice, 1 eye roll. Which isn't that bad as much as I was shitting on it, but like,
no, 3 stars is a good book.
Yeah, I had the eye roll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it happens.
Yeah. What?
So
yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I already read book 2 of The Kindred's Curse because I couldn't wait. So Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole, fantasy romance. I started that one March 20th and finished March 28th, and it's 637 pages. I lost sleep. I only read before I go to bed. So I was like looking at the clock like, oh shit, like I was exhausted every day. Like, I'm like waking up, getting kids ready for school, like half falling asleep. So yeah, it was I lost sleep, but worth it. It's so good. So an unexpected gift offers the power to change everything, but keeping it could cost DM her life. The threat of war has arrived at DM's doorstep, along with a new discovery that could save her people. To use it, she must survive the next 30 days by forming a devil's bargain with the people she hates most, the royal family of House Corbois. But as she dives into the world of the descended elite, DM quickly realizes good and evil aren't as simple as they seem. Old prejudices are challenged, and new loyalties blur the line between friend and foe. Meanwhile, her mother is still missing, and the secrets she left behind can no longer be ignored, and neither can the Guardians and their demands. Caught between an old flame and a sizzling new spark, Dia must confront the truth about who she is and what she wants before time runs out. War is coming, and dangerous enemies wait on all sides. But the most deadly battle Dia faces may be the one for her heart.
Oh, shit.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. I mean, I like the first one better.
Yeah.
God. The way the first one ended, you're just like you need the second one right away. But this was good too. So
it's fine.
She was a bit more like trying, to say the least, in this book. So there is the thing she did that drove me the most freaking crazy is she would always jump to conclusions and like she won't even let people finish what they are saying before interjecting and like arguing until that person, whoever it may be on the other side, just gives up on the conversation. It's just like, okay,
I'm
bye.
not even gonna
bye. Oh, is that okay? Cool. And it's always something that was like super important. So like would have been good for her to know, but she'll be like, they'll say something, well, but maybe, and she gets mad, and like I get it, I get her anger, I get her frustration, but she would be interrupting, and oh god, Penn Cole writes this conversation so well.
Yeah,
like where that's happening, because I feel like that would be kind of difficult to write to where I'm frustrated. I'm like, well, let them speak. Like you're not even letting them talk. They're getting like 2 words out. I'm getting annoyed. So like, she writes. There's a lot of dialogue in these books, and it's written very well. Sorry, I'm getting really excited. So
don't worry, that's me next. You're good.
So that drove me kind of crazy. I read a lot of reviews, and a lot of people do have issues with her. Like someone's like, she's the worst FMC. No. So some of the reason why she is the way she is, that was the only thing that, other than that, because that drove me nuts. But she has so many reasons to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, she's thrown basically into with her enemies. Like, what the frick do you expect her to just trust everybody and be like, everything's cool? Yeah. No. So, of course, there's like an abundance of trust issues and this and that, and I get a lot of the decisions and a lot of the arguments she made. I just hate it when she would jump to conclusions because they were always wrong.
Well, yeah, dude.
Grow up. Stop. But Luther?
Yeah?
Oh my god. He's amazing. He's a great book boyfriend. You're gonna like it. If you read this, you're gonna like you some. Not at first, you never do.
Well, yeah, of course.
First, and then slowly, and then it's just like, he may be too good to be true. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's a third
1,000 plus pages in the next book, so we'll find out. The tension and slow burn, and this is a slow burn, and it's so good though because the tension. Penn Cole can write. Like I love the way she's writing the tension and conversations, and she's just good at it because it's so fluid and everything, and all the characters are still so great. Oh, this book made me cry.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I told you.
You did.
I think I told you it did. I
was so excited because
3 tears fell. I was like, what? There's a really fucking sad part. Oh my god! Now I'm like, oh shit! Like I felt all the words started getting blurry, and I was like, no. And it was like, and then I blinked, and it was like, bink. I'm like, shit. I'm like trying to like, my husband's sleeping, but I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna wake up, and I'm over here sniffling. Like this is not good. Oh, it was so good. But anyways, I did like book 1 more. I don't know, just the first one, you're getting into a new world, and if it's written so well, it's just exciting, and I just had more feeling. But I did love this one. Don't get me wrong, this is a good one, and I want to read the next one. It's over 1,000 pages.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And then the 4th one comes out in June. I'm going to. I know you got some pages coming. I know we're talking about next, but I'm gonna read that one, but I have to take a break because Bekk is making me. No.
Because
why?
I have to. No.
So I say if you read the first book 1 and you enjoyed it, it is worth continuing for sure. I gave it 3.5 stars, 1 spice, 2.5 eye rolls because the jumping to conclusions is driving me fucking batshit. But it's not like eye rolls that are gonna like. It doesn't ruin the book. Put it that way, because sometimes I can ruin a book and it doesn't. So yeah, the next book's gonna be really long, but I have to wait a while, and why do I have to wait a while?
I'm so excited. Finally. Okay, so I spent my entire March reading the ACOTAR series. And okay, I want to preface this with that I never thought I was ever going to read the ACOTAR series because I thought it was too popular on Book Talk. And like you and I have like this bad relationship with popular books on TikTok as it is. But
yes,
I was recommended this by a dear friend of mine, Ashley, back in South Dakota. And I trust her taste, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured it was finally time to take the plunge. And then like this girl that we went to college together with, Leslie, recommended to her. So it's just been a domino effect. And now I'm recommending it to you because I need to be the person on the other side of this.
Yeah.
So it is Romantasy. The total pages is 2,518. I did start it on 3/7. I ended it like 3/28. So it took me all of March. So it's not that like I'm like a superhero or anything and I read all these, but it is not finished. The series is not finished. There's more books coming. I will say though that 1, 2, 3 you can read as a trilogy and skip the other ones. Anyway, okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself. The plot summary. By the way, I don't like this plot summary because I don't think it does it justice, and maybe that's why I did not read the book for so long.
Yeah, I've seen that. That was that one book that I recommended to you last month. My favorite book, one of my favorite books.
Which one?
The thing between us.
Yeah.
The plot summary was awful. Anyway,
horrible.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it starts with when 19-year-old huntress Feyre kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows nothing about, only from legends, Feyre discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least he's not a beast all the time. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy Tamlin, transform from icy hostility to fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not quite right in the fairy lands. An ancient, wicked shadow is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. So I don't like this because it doesn't give you, like... especially when it starts off with like 19-year-old Feyre, because like she does not act like a 19-year-old at all. She has been starving for years. She's the sole provider for her family of her 2 sisters and her dad. She was once this wealthy merchant's daughter. He lost all of his wealth and now they live in squalor, and she has to go out into the woods and hunt. So
she grew up quick. She's not your typical,
she's very like she has a lot of trauma. And it's not. When I read she kills a wolf in the woods, I thought it was like, okay, she just killed a wolf, but it is important who the wolf is, why she killed this wolf, and like she was hunting for her family. This doe was like the last doe of the season, and she had to kill this doe, but the wolf is in the way. So I don't like this summary because it doesn't give you like enough to be engaged as to like,
you just read it like,
she's just this 19-year-old girl and she gets taken out into the fairy. But that's not like, dude. There's so many like dark aspects to it. There's like, there's morally gray anti-heroes. There's like mystery involved. There's torture. There's like these like gross evil like beings that she has to fight, and there's so much lore, and like it blows my mind. It's so good.
It sounds really fun.
It's so hard to talk to about it because like I have to that's also why I read all of the books in 1 month, is because I knew I just wanted to talk about it once, because I know that book 2 there's so much that happens in book 2 that like book 1 is like I wouldn't say irrelevant, but like
I heard it was a little slow.
Okay.
But
also,
sometimes they are. It's like an introductory book. You have to learn everything, so...
You learn a lot. I will also say that is something that happens with all of her books, all of the series, is that most of the action happens in the last, like, 60 to 90% of the books.
Okay.
But none of them actually, like, end up on a cliffhanger. Kind of reminds me of, like, Harry Potter, where, like, you get, like, all of the school within the last, like... And then Voldemort, like, decides to attack him in the last, like...
And you're like, oh, great.
Oh, cool. And then he goes home to, like, over the summer, and then the year starts over. Is kind of how I read it. I really do like the writing style. It was smooth. There's no confusing plot points, which can happen in, like, fantasy, where you're like,
oh, yeah.
What? Who's this person again? Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
There is, like, mystery, but it's not, like, something that's, like, trying to dupe you by any means. It's just that, like, there's something else that we're going to learn later on.
Okay.
I really, really did like Feyre. She wasn't annoying, and she wasn't, like, a try-hard badass. Like, of course she can do all these things because she had to teach herself how to do these things because she's the primary, like...
Right, she is a badass.
Yeah, she is. She is illiterate, which... because when her father fell from grace, she was not in school yet, so she never learned her letters, which is something that comes up quite often. It was so good. The few annoying bits that I don't love, and it goes across, like, fantasy altogether, is that I hate the male and female thing. Like, I hate it. I don't like
when they're referred to as, like, male and female. Yeah,
but, like, I think that just happens in fantasy for some reason. Like, I guess that's just
I've seen it.
I don't love it, but I mean,
I'm
that's
not a fan of it either.
That's just a me thing, and you, I guess. You are also you're gonna hear watery bowels a lot. Like, every time she's scared, her bowels turn to water.
Sorry.
No, like, these are the things that I found annoying, which, I mean, the amount of times mate is used. So this is a world that fated mates exist, which is probably why I like it so much, because fated mates are, like, my favorite.
Yeah.
Instead of saying I flipped him off, she says vulgar gesture. Like, I made a vulgar gesture, like, so many times does this happen. And then, like, she has this style of being like, I kissed him once, twice, or, like, he dropped his sword once, twice, or, like, it can never be once. It's once, twice. But I mean, like, those are just little things in, like, 2,000 pages. So
it doesn't ruin the book,
right? And that's the only reason why it's not 5 stars for me. Is just, like, those little things, and I'm just really picky.
Yeah. Wow. Dang, girl.
Like I said, you can read books 1, 2, 3, and be completely fine. 1 and 3 is Feyre. 3.5 is the solstice, the winter solstice. That's kind of like a novella. It's just, like, in between. It's just, like, what they're doing between 3 and 4.
Okay.
4 is a completely different character. I cannot tell you who it is yet, because, which is, why I want you to read it so bad is because I can't tell you anything aside from book 1, because so much shit changes. And it gives
it'll give
all
things away.
Like, you were sending me TikToks and you're like, how many of these men are in? Like, I can't tell you.
Yeah. That's funny. Should we do one of those TikToks with after I read it?
Yes.
With, like, what you think they're reading?
What do you
mean?
The
characters? Like, the characters of ACOTAR, what they're reading?
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, we did... Well, you gave me everything for Baldur's Gate, because I don't know anything about Baldur's Gate. I'm like, send me this. Because we did the... oh my god, Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate. I think that'd be fun to do with this.
It would be really fun.
Do, like, what these characters are. Anyway, sorry.
No.
A little interjection there.
Like I said, I can't even mention any pairing synopsis characters until you read at least to number 3.
Okay.
I knew that going in, and why I read them all. again, all at once. I think I want to do like an Oops All ACOTAR Thirsty episode once.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, because I want to get into like specific details about different things, but I can't do that right now because you don't know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that'd be super fun. So,
as far as the rate, I obviously recommend this to literally everybody. Please, everybody read this. So A Court of Thorns and Roses, that's book 1. I gave 4 stars, 1 spice, because it's not very explicit. It just kind of, it's mostly implied. Like, it's one of those that's like, I bared myself open to him. And it's not anything that's like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand.
And then 1 eye roll for each watery bowel. A Court of Mist and Fury was 4.5 stars. That was my favorite book. And once you get to chapter 55, you will know. If you know, you know. 2 spices, 1 eye roll for each mountain trembling, and toilets that exist somehow. That was another thing that threw me off. Like, toilets exist. Whatever.
Yeah.
A Court of Ruins and Ruin, I gave 4 stars, 3 spice, 1 eye roll for each vulgar gesture. I skipped Frost and Starlight. You can just Wikipedia that. Like, like the Wikipedia page gives you all you need to know. And I had my friend Ashley like tell me like plot points. Like, if anything, you don't need to read it. It's fine.
Okay.
A Court of Silver Flames, I gave 3 stars, 3 spice, and 1 eye roll for each of the steps of the House of Winds. And again, if you know, you know. I will say that I did not love the character in A Court of Silver Flames. She's just not my favorite character. But once you get there, we can talk about it more. And although it wasn't 5 stars, I still think I might get like the box set for my shelves because, I mean, I've been obsessed with it for the last month. But yeah, I might need more shelves soon. And if you guys ever want a shelf tour and are on our YouTube video, comment it down below. But what are you?
She has a pretty rad setup, I will say.
I did also reorganize it, so it looks a lot better now.
Ooh,
I know.
I love it.
I have like a whole Austin Matthews cubby.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
What are you currently reading?
Okay. I was supposed to take a break from Splatterpunk. I told myself I would, but there was an author, K.L. Allister, and he reached out and asked me if I would check out his book. And then I like looked it up, and he has 1 review on Goodreads.
Oh no! Yeah,
he's like a super indie. He has like 4 TikToks. Like, he's super new, and I'm like, all right. So I'm currently reading that. Carnivores. It is not as bad as it's gross.
Sure,
there's cannibalism in it, and he describes that well. But honestly, it's not non-stop. There is a lot of plot here, which I can appreciate because I can't do another like June. No. So I'm reading Carnivores. I told him that it was it'll be on like next month's episode for review, and he was pretty stoked to hear about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was excited. I'm also reading Blended Chaos. So DV Lee sent me the 3rd book in the Grimwell Legacy series. I had read the first 2. I had meant to read the 3rd, and then I didn't. And it's just
one of those things.
Track of things. Yeah, it's horrible. So she was she as always sent me a copy of the book and like all these little trinkets. And
I know.
Thank you so much, DV. You're the freaking sweetest. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I was worried. I'm like, I remember the first 2, but do I remember enough? And I picked up, and I'm like, little things came to me at first, and now I'm good. So,
yeah,
it's really good. I'm like halfway through it already, so I'm really enjoying it. So, what are you reading?
I am currently reading A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. You've probably seen it literally everywhere: TikTok, Facebook ads, Instagram ads.
It's that girl on the cover, right?
With her hand on her neck. Yeah. I figured it's like about like Norse mythology, so I figured I might as well, since it's popular right now. And
how is it so far?
It's not bad. I think ACOTAR has probably ruined me for just a little bit. But it's fine. Yeah. Norse mythology, getting back into it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. So for our book club, are we going to do Fourth Wing?
I mean, we might as well. You already bought it.
I did.
We're in our romantasy eras, you and I. So
For sure.
Might as well.
Yeah. Okay, sounds fun. So if you guys want to join and read the Fourth Wing, and we'll talk about it next month. It'll be super fun. Leave us comments. I know most people have already read it, so we're kind of late.
Yeah, we're late to the game, but I was late to ACOTAR too, so.
Yeah, and I'm also, I haven't started ACOTAR yet, but I'm going to.
I'm so excited.
So wow, we dove deep into some seriously swoon-worthy fantasy romances this time around. When you're craving a dash of mystery, whether you're craving a dash of mystery with J.J. Abrams, a classic Western with Louis Lamar, is that how you say it? Epic fantasies with Penn Cole, K.M. Mornova, Sarah J. Maas, and Karina Hill, or a gross splatterpunk by Stuart Bray. He broke me.
I know.
Dang you, Stuart Bray. We hope we've sparked your next great read.
Definitely. And remember, if you're craving more fantasy romance discussions or have recommendations for us, please hit us up on our social media and leave a comment on our YouTube.
Absolutely. And of course, a huge thank you to all of you for joining us on this literary adventure. That's all for today. I'm your co-host, Stephanie.
And I'm Bekk.
And this has been Novelty with S&B. See you in the next chapter.